each resource at the workshop was scored for each of those 3 components of vulnerability on a 1 to 5 scale based on many of those characteristics I just listed. These scores were then used to calculate an overall vulnerability score for each resource that is being incorporated into our final assessments. And so how we are developing these final assessments of vulnerability, of course we don't just want to rely on a number that was produced by a small group of people when asking them about this resource. We want to back that up with robust background peer-reviewed literature. So you'll see our 3 components of vulnerability at the top. And so we're taking into account the scores that each resource received for those vulnerability components, as well as the narratives that provides us greater context and ability to kind of understand what the workshop participants were thinking when they gave a species a certain valued score. These narratives also take into account confidence. How confident were their ratings and their scores, and that will definitely matter when we're putting all this information together. And then, of course, we supplement those relative scores of vulnerability with information from the literature to come up with these vulnerability assessment reports that we're writing for each individual resource. And then those will go through a peer review process before those are finalized. And so now what I wanted to show is our preliminary results of these relative vulnerability scores for all of our resources. These scores are definitely subject to change with subsequent peer review of the assessment reports and the incorporation of background literature. But I love looking at graphs and figures, so I wanted to be able to show something of what we've been able to come up